fourth grade class at Galm Elementary School has picked up a unique hobby that is also a wonderful service project. You could say they're definitely hooked. Teddy Lou Stevens' classroom just might be the quietest place at Galm Elementary School. The students are hard at work, but there's hardly a sound. For these fourth graders, it's cool to crochet. Under the guidance of Mrs. Stevens, who crochets herself, the students work their way up to making blankets. They all started small by practicing their technique on balls of yarn. Crocheting demands concentration and precision. With their fingers and crochet hooks in quick motion, students quickly realize their mouths can't be doing the same.
I made 3 blankets and I learned that crocheting takes time and patience, and you have to don't talk when you're crocheting because you'll mess up and you have to rip out.
You're on the blanket, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
You do 5 rounds of this color.
But it's okay to make mistakes. They all admit they've made a few. The only thing to do is rip out and start again.
For some, it was very, very hard, and they thought they were never going to learn and were actually thinking probably of quitting, but that's not allowed, so we just keep going.
The class crochets each morning before school, except Mondays when Mrs. Stevens has hall duty. They also earn the privilege to crochet when regular assignments and book reading are complete. Students spread out across the floor to crochet, and their collective work is a rainbow of colors with blankets in various states of completion. If they get stuck, Mrs. Stevens is there to answer questions and offer advice.
Chain 1, slip stitch, and go on to the next round.
Understand that? The students sure do. Crochet terms sound like a foreign language, except to those who are very familiar with them. Finishing a blanket is a big deal, but there's no celebrating until after the final check with Mrs. Stevens.
Okay, side pockets, how many? Once they finish the first blanket, they do the next blankets on their own. But at the very end, I still check to see if they have the right number of rounds and if they have the right number of pattern on the sides. And then they have to hold it up and show me to make sure the tails are woven. Those are those little pieces that are left when you cut it off, and it looks sloppy if you don't weave all the tails in. And with 5 different colors, you have like 10 tails. So they have to show it to me, and then they can show it to the class, and we all clap for them and are real pleased.
Mercy is proud that he was the first boy in the class to finish a blanket.
I was like, oh my, I finished it. I felt so excited.
The one thing he's not too excited about is shopping for yarn. Students buy their own hooks in their first package of yarn and then supplement with the teacher's yarn supply.
My mom sometimes picks the colors.
That's not your thing.
No, it's my thing, but she looks at the other colors because she wants me to make her a blanket.
Mom will have to wait. The class blankets will be donated to Project Linus, a nonprofit organization that provides handmade blankets to seriously ill or traumatized children. Northside students have been on both the giving and receiving end of this group's all-volunteer efforts.
Some people don't have special things, so I make something special for them.
Knowing the blankets are a gift creates high expectations for quality work.
It helps me try better on it because I'm giving it to someone else.
Their goal is to beat last year's class record, which was 44 blankets. As they get closer and closer to that magic number, there's one thing that is absolutely clear.
Crocheting's awesome.
The idea to teach students how to crochet came from a fellow teacher years ago during a lesson on pioneers, and Mrs. Stevens has carried on the tradition. She says crocheting helps teach students patience, coping skills, and even improves their handwriting skills. Think about it, when you're holding a crochet hook, you're using similar muscles and motions as you would when using a pencil. And if you're wondering, the class did meet their goal of 45 plus blankets.